Our male protagonist dreams of sinking into an endless abyss. Suddenly, he hears a cry for help and wakes up to find himself in a prison cell near a hole in the wall. A girl is calling for help, informing him of a spiked wall moving closer at regular intervals. He tries to break the window to escape, but it proves too difficult. The main door can only be opened from the outside. Initially, he suspects the girl might be his captor and shouts at her, but soon realizes she is also a victim. Noticing she has an axe, he suggests she use it to break her window and escape. However, she doesn't have a window, so he asks to borrow the axe to escape and then rescue her. She insists he swear an oath, or they'll both die. He agrees and swears, "I, Ming Yuan, swear I won't leave you behind and escape alone. If I do, may I die a gruesome death." Only then does she give him the axe. Unfortunately, the hole is too small and jammed to fit the axe through. She tries to widen the hole but discovers it's made of super hard granite. The girl breaks down and cries helplessly. Ming Yuan asks her to be quiet so he can think. She laments about never having had her first kiss, explaining that she had just dozed off on a train and woke up on this iron bed. Hearing about the iron bed, Ming Yuan asks her to pass him a bed leg so he can try to open the window and rescue her through the rotting wooden roof. She reluctantly trusts him and hands over the bed leg. Ming Yuan manages to pry open the window and climb out just before the spiked wall blocks the window. We learn the girl's name is Su Jin. She once went mountain exploring with friends. When one person accidentally fell while picking flowers, she helped bandage the wound. As the daughter of an esteemed traditional Chinese medicine doctor, she has extensive knowledge of traditional medicine. Suddenly, two other friends arrive to inform her that their original way down the mountain is blocked. They now have two choices: stay and wait indefinitely for rescue or leave the injured young man behind and return before the path is completely blocked. Su Jin initially refuses to abandon the injured man, but they argue that sacrificing one is better than all dying. The injured man overhears and, lacking nobility, chooses to leave. The two friends leave half of their supplies for Su Jin and the injured man before departing with a promise to send help if they escape that night. Su Jin helps the young man's leg heal and tells him to recover quickly so they can leave. The young man falls for her and asks her to be his girlfriend if they escape, but she avoids the question and leaves to gather herbs, saying he's not really her type. She returns with several items but finds the young man gone, having taken all the supplies and left a note explaining his actions. From then on, Su Jin harbors a grudge against men and assumes Ming Yuan is the same. However, when Ming Yuan breaks through the ceiling to rescue her as he swore, she is stunned, then grabs his hand joyfully, hugs him, and apologizes for cursing him. Thinking he had abandoned her, she introduces herself and asks about his job, but Ming Yuan is in shock, not knowing where they are. Ming Yuan jumps down and catches Su Jin, but her weight surprises him, causing irritation. When they realize they are in a lighthouse, they use the bed leg to open a door and climb down. After a while, Ming Yuan notices a section of the stairs is missing. He takes a risk and jumps, managing to grab a ladder. He tells Su Jin to jump, and he catches her successfully. However, the ladder detaches due to their combined weight, and they fall into the water. Ming Yuan uses his body to shield Su Jin during the fall and loses consciousness. Su Jin brings him to the surface and drags him to shore. Determined not to let him die, she finds a nearby room to avoid the rain and decides to drag Ming Yuan inside. She is worried about potential danger but concludes that resting there is the only option. Inside the room, she notices a shadow and turns on the light to find a corpse. A young man appears behind her and threatens her with a knife, demanding to know where they are and why she brought Ming Yuan there. If she lies, he threatens to make her end up like the corpse. She begs him to put Ming Yuan down first. The young man then asks her again, and she admits she doesn't know where they are, explaining they just escaped from the lighthouse and had an accident coming down. And the young man decides to question Ming Yuan, forbidding her from interfering, or he'll stab her. He steps on Ming Yuan's hand to wake him and asks for information, but Ming Yuan doesn't know who Su Jin is. Su Jin argues they've just met, but the young man catches her mistake and is about to stab her. Instead, he stabs between her fingers as a warning, saying next time she'll lose a finger. Seeing Ming Yuan crying like a child, Su Jin suggests the fall might have caused memory loss. Her lengthy explanation irritates the young man, but he is still unconvinced. He asks why Ming Yuan would sacrifice himself to protect her, threatening to put a knife to Ming Yuan's throat if she doesn't provide an answer. Su Jin asks if he's ever had friends who would sacrifice themselves for him. This convinces the young man, as he has experienced such loyalty from his own friends in the underworld. He then asks if there is any way to treat Ming Yuan, but it seems impossible for now since Ming Yuan only has memories from elementary school. Su Jin examines the corpse and notices it was brought from somewhere else. The house is damp, but the corpse is burned, which is unusual. From her medical knowledge, she realizes this is not typical. She asks the young man to cut open the clothes, finding 4 numbers, 0843, which appears to be a code. The young man recalls being chased by the underworld and escaping by boat, waking up here. He suspects they were all abandoned by human traffickers. Ming Yuan recalls that he and Su Jin were locked in a room with a mechanism that compressed the walls, making it improbable for human traffickers to set up everything while escaping. They suspect this might be some sort of survival game. They decide to return to the lighthouse to search for clues, but Zhang informs them that the path outside the stairs is broken and the stairs they used to descend have been blown up. Su Jin discovers a piece of paper in the corpse's ear, a map of the island marked with crosses at certain lighthouses, though the meaning is unclear. Ming Yuan finds the map familiar but cannot remember why and gets a headache. Zhang suspects he's faking and is about to teach him a lesson, but Su Jin intervenes. She then takes Ming Yuan to rest. He only remembers seeing someone draw the map but cannot recall clearly. Zhang allows them to rest but remains distrustful, suspecting they might be from the underworld. The next morning, Zhang wakes them up and informs them they will head to one of the crossed-out locations on the map, believing there might be some clues. Su Jin is concerned as neither is in optimal condition, but Zhang is giving orders, not suggestions. He warns them that if he discovers any schemes behind his back, they will face trouble. They set out, but midway Zhang discovers a trap on the road. The spikes have bloodstains, though it's unclear if they are from humans or animals. Su Jin speculates there might be more people on the island who could become allies, but Zhang dismisses her as naive. In this harsh environment with limited food, people might trample others for survival. Hence, they must remain hidden if they encounter anyone, observe first without revealing themselves, and trust no one. Zhang then orders them to find food. He believes his strength grants him the right to make decisions. After a day, Ming Yuan finds wild berries while Su Jin picks mushrooms. Su Jin lets a nearby rabbit go, but Zhang does not. He kills the rabbit with a knife and leads them to a nearby cave for temporary shelter. After eating, Zhang stares at Su Jin and orders her to gather dry grass to make a bed for him. He gives Ming Yuan the remaining rabbit meat and warns him not to enter the cave. Zhang then reveals his true nature and attempts to assault Su Jin. Hearing her screams, Ming Yuan, despite fearing Zhang's warning, rushes in to stop him. He is immediately punched, and when Zhang threatens further, Ming Yuan argues that Zhang is crucial for the team's offensive capabilities while Su Jin is the healer. Zhang's anger boils over as Ming Yuan talks about everything as if it's a game, leading him to punch Ming Yuan again before losing interest and leaving, instructing them to continue finding food the next day. That afternoon, Zhang realizes the other two are not from the underworld. While he is deep in thought, he hears a cry for help and runs back. The cry is not coming from the cave, so he heads towards the trap and sees a man running towards it. Su Jin wants to warn him, but Ming Yuan covers her mouth. The man falls into the trap, and Ming Yuan stops Su Jin because someone else is approaching. Whoever made the man run must be formidable. A native appears and finishes off the man, dragging him away. Su Jin, shocked, faints. They take her back to the cave, and Ming Yuan suspects the person they saw might be from a cannibalistic tribe. This suggests that their situation is more dangerous than they thought. Jiang warns Ming Yuan to be cautious as this might just be the beginning. The next morning, Ming Yuan climbs a tree to pick coconuts when Su Jin screams because of a rat at her feet. Jiang, annoyed that she's afraid of rats but not corpses, runs to her. Su Jin then needs to use the bathroom, so she goes to a corner and asks them not to follow or look. After finishing, Su Jin notices someone nearby and screams again, prompting both men to run to her. They discover two natives about to kill Su Jin. Jiang wants to think of a plan but decides to act quickly. He throws his knife at the native with the hammer while Ming Yuan pushes the other native away, just as the hammer is about to strike. Suddenly, a gunshot rings out, killing the native with the hammer. The other native flees in fear. Ming Yuan rushes to Su Jin, who is terrified. A girl with a gun steps out, introducing herself as Tracy, an American police officer with a nearby group. She wants to join them but Jiang questions her about her knowledge of Chinese, as she claims to have never been to China. Tracy suggests that people often resemble each other, and Jiang is mistaken. She also finds it odd that despite being a good shot aiming for the native's head, her bullet hit the heart instead. Before they can discuss further, more natives arrive, forcing the group to flee. Tracy stays behind to cover them and tells the trio to wait for her at a nearby stream. Jiang wants the younger ones to go first. When they reach the stream, they wait but Tracy does not show up. Jiang instructs them not to reveal the map or password to anyone, as they don't know how many others might kill for this information. This is all they have, and they must protect it carefully. The three decide to work together to escape, with Jiang promising to protect them, and Su Jin agreeing to follow Ming Yuan while Ming Yuan agrees to follow Jiang. Ming Yuan rambles about game theories, making Jiang question his sanity. They all vow to share their fortunes and misfortunes together. Later, Tracy returns, having temporarily repelled the natives but running low on ammunition. She takes them to regroup with the others, leading them to a shelter where they meet more people. A young man there thinks Tracy shouldn't be rescuing more people given her limited ammunition. Jiang is annoyed.